Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you the capital of Goa. It's Panaji or Panjim. And I'm going to be doing it through a series of photos. So I'm just going to go through photos and kind of just talk about the experience like this, so you'll see these little alleys and I'll explain exactly what they're all about. And so that's basically what we're going to be doing here. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. Go check out the room. Okay, I'm the content creator for this channel. If you like what I'm doing, just subscribe and hit the like button. Okay, so to get to the capital, I started in near Tito's Lane, which is on the beach, and I had to get into the city a little bit. It's kind of expensive. Taxis cost a lot more than you'd think, and so I ended up taking a bus. Ended up coming out here first. So I got into the town. I took a few pictures. So the church was one of them that I took. And I get into the bus station, and this is kind of what it looks like. And it's a little bit crowded, of course. And I just start walking. As soon as I get in, I just start. I get out of this bus station, which is right in the center of the town, and I just kind of take photos everywhere I go, so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. This is a pretty big tourist attraction outside of the town, and so I start walking this way, and it's kind of cool looking church, but it's very a lot of tourists. And actually the other part of the cities, the other part of this city is more cooler in my opinion, but this is kind of interesting as well. And I started playing around the field there, and I would say this is probably one of the more touristy areas. So there's just kind of a big collection of places that a lot of people come out here with some tourist sites. So I'm going to take some pictures of those too, and then I'm going to walk into the heart of the city. So this is maybe one of the tourist things that you might see. And I'm still playing around the field there, and I'm going to get it back to the original right now. And it's kind of cool. There's a lot of people walking around, just tons of tourists from all over India. I could feel it like that. And I'm kind of snapping some pictures. It's kind of interesting seeing everybody just kind of hanging out. And a lot of people are really attracted to this because it's a church. And, Goa is mostly Hindu, and India is mostly Hindu, and Goa is mostly Catholic origin with Portuguese. So a lot of people found the church was really interesting, and then as a foreigner, I was getting a lot of attention. So people were catching me and putting me in their photos, but I was catching them too and getting them in my photos too. So it all worked out, right? So here we are just kind of watching people pose and just how interested they were in Catholicism in the church, and it's also just kind of interesting capturing. You don't really see that many women in general, but I saw a lot that were on this tour going through Goa, through the capital. I mean, I didn't see that many women in other parts of India, like especially northern India. So I found it kind of interesting, just seeing all the tourists, and I think they were like maybe students. So yeah, actually, Panaji is pretty surprising, especially when I got into the heart of the city, and I'm going to be showing more of that as well. But I kind of wanted to give you as much insight as I could. So a lot of times, I do video for this channel called Get Sidetracked, but sometimes I also want to share some older photos as well. So this would have been from 2017, December. And I'm going to put the label with all of these as well. And yeah, actually some of the traditional dresses, I found this kind of a nice contrast because the other ones were more modern, maybe from Mumbai or somewhere like that. And then you had these other parts that were more conservative. Conservatively dressed in a more traditional attire. Yeah, and actually these churches they're actually pretty amazing. Just how large they are, especially compared, when I did this comparison with the people. And a lot of people are just pouring into the churches in this part of the city. Very touristy. And then when I get into the center part, it changes quite a bit. And I really enjoyed the center part even more. Not that I didn't enjoy the tourists, but as a Catholic from origin, I didn't find the Catholic stuff as interesting as I might have found like Hinduism or something drastically different. And as you can see here, most of the tourists are here, looking at all this kind of Catholic stuff everywhere. And this is basically where the Portuguese first kind of built their civilization, I guess. I don't know what you could call it. Colony? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so lots of restaurants, vegetarians was always an option, and this one I'm kind of getting more into the tourist area right outside of the churches. And I started exploring and walking around, and I could walk up to this other thing as well, another kind of tourist structure, but there's hardly anybody over at this one. And Yeah, very, very Catholic part of the capital. And I actually think that building, you can see through the windows, it looks like it's maybe not in operation anymore, but it was still kind of visually interesting for me to capture. Now we're going to be getting into the city. So now we're, yeah, there's me doing a little, checking out the Catholic stuff. Yep. So yeah, there's quite a bit of Catholic stuff. Actually, I'm still kind of a little bit near that that original place with the most of the churches, and now I'm kind of getting to a little tourist area, which is kind of interesting too. Little shopping centers. You can buy so much touristy stuff all over Goa. It's one of the main things I noticed. Speaking of which, I want to get into the taxis a little bit. So the taxis are a little bit of a challenge in Goa because they're kind of taxi mafia. So they were telling me about that in Goa as well. Like, you know, like you just can't get a fair price. So everything is like, you know, $20. But then when you're in other parts of Goa, you can go for like 45 minutes across Bangalore or Delhi or New Delhi, and you know, 25 minutes would be almost nothing. It'll be just you know, $2, $3, $4. But in Goa, I just couldn't get away from things being, you know, more like $15 or $20. So I just took buses everywhere and walked everywhere. And now we're getting right into the heart of the city. So so the other one was a little bit outside, and inside is actually quite beautiful. There's all this kind of Portuguese colors. That's a little bit of Portuguese tile, and I found the immediate part of the city amazing, and actually the trees as well. So you can see me kind of capturing some of the images of those. So yeah, pretty amazing. And actually, this one, I guess in this area, I'm going to go back into the middle later, but at this point I'm kind of going towards a mall because I need to find something, some kind of camera rated. I had to find an SD card for the camera, so I'm kind of amazed by this little tree right here. So you can see a little bit of excessive amount of photos of that, and then I'm going to end up finding this thing, this kind of Macau building. And what's interesting about the Macau building in particular is that I live in Macau. So I live in Macau next to Hong Kong, and Macau also has some Portuguese architecture as well, and you know, those kind of bright colors. So right here I'm still walking towards the mall, and I'm kind of interested in, you know, the colors, and also those apartment buildings to the sides are interesting. And here we go, Casa Macau. It was really amazing for me to find this place. So I ended up bringing I had all these Macau coins in my pocket, and ended up giving them, you know, like hundreds of them. And the reason I had them was because I just had all these tiny little golden ones, and this is the Goan family right there. And you can see they're kind of more mixed, right? A little bit of a Portuguese and African from Africa, from all these Portuguese colonies. So I was able to bring them all these little coins, and I found that pretty cool because sometimes when I travel, I just like to bring a lot of coins from wherever I'm at, and I did that there, and I found that Macau place, so I gave them like 100 of them. It's kind of just like a nice little coincidence. So I think they really enjoyed that a lot. And I got to meet their family there as well. And so now, you know, there's some bookstores. And then now we're just kind of, I went to the mall already. Now I'm coming back into the city. And I'm kind of a little bit mesmerized by some of the apartments. And, you know, just little styles like this. And I'm also just the colors too. So I'm able to capture Mother Teresa. So missionaries of Mother Teresa. You know, Mother Teresa was in India as well. Some of these jagged sidewalks you have to walk on, and I'm kind of capturing some of the traditional clothing as well. And yeah, actually, actually kind of a cool little thing, Justice. Yeah, actually, I'm just kind of mesmerized a little bit, like just how interesting this town is and how much Portuguese influence there is. Now we're kind of walking into the streets, and you can kind of see, you know, some of the stuff in the stores. Like this store was kind of interesting. It's probably for some festival. And I'm kind of just clicking photos away, so it's kind of random a little bit. But at least I'm kind of capturing images of the people and then also the store, so that, you know, maybe people that use Google Maps, they can get a little bit a better context of what things look like a little bit. And you can see those little side things, you know, just how deep some of the alleys are. This is kind of interesting. There's a bunch of people hanging out in the guest house. This guy, I gave him some food, and he was pretty excited about that. He looked pretty down and out there, so it's kind of an isolated corner. And now I'm kind of capturing, like this one, I'm kind of working at the imagery because, you know, when I'm walking down here, it's like, wow, that's kind of cool. This is solid yellow building, and so I'm, you know, trying to capture what that looks like exactly for the camera. And yeah, just kind of random. Again, these kind of pastel colors are everywhere, so I really like that a lot. Kind of back, trying to capture some more of this scenery from the side. But yeah, this city is. Actually, I was really surprised. Like, the people were so nice, and I found people speak English, and like some parts of India, I found people didn't really speak much English, but this one they did. And yeah, some of the buildings look a little dilapidated, but they also are kind of cool looking. So I kind of like the structure. There also some kind of gambling, so I took a picture of that because I don't think gambling is that common in India in general. So I kind of got the feeling once I saw this, I saw a lot of people heading towards it a little bit. This is a statue kind of out by the tourist areas. Yeah, this part right here, there's you can see a riverfront on the side, so that ship coming in. So there's like a port right here, so that casino is there, and then this one seemed like it was attracting more tourists, like Indian tourists in particular, just big massive groups of Indian tourists, which was kind of interesting because when you're in other parts, actually everywhere in Goa is mostly Indian tourists. So I think they come from all over the country to kind of see this more Catholic part of India. And plus there's a little bit more liberal drinking laws, like you could drink there where a lot of India you can't. So I definitely felt that at nighttime. But yeah, and the city itself was kind of interesting. I think it's about 40,000 people, which kind of surprised me a little bit. It feels bigger. It has a nice density to it that I really liked. So I was able to walk around and kind of get a good feel for it, and I had a really positive image of it. And actually, I went there for a couple days. So this is actually one day that I was there. So I have it down in the left corner of the exact date, and I'll have other ones up there later, some couple other dates, because I just found the city so interesting. So yeah, see, there's some of these narrow streets that I really like. This little area, you can tell there's a lot of money that was kind of coming in. Maybe it's not so obvious in the photos, but there's lots of little guest houses, and everything was kind of painted nice colors. So I just found this area really attractive, and I come back another day and I took a lot more photos. But it's just kind of cool. So I'm also taking the camera and putting it behind my head and trying to capture me coming down the alley, and so I just kind of reached behind me with the camera. But these colors were just pretty interesting, and I think that yellow one is like art. So usually when more money comes into a neighborhood, you'll see more of that. Kind of nice green colors, beautiful windows, things like that. It's like nice imagery, especially that imagery, just the balcony. So there's a little bit more hostels in here, and I saw a few Westerners. Looks like they choose to stay here. Most people, when they go to Goa, I think they usually try to stay at the beaches. But I found the city to be kind of pleasant, especially when I saw stuff like this. Like I could see myself maybe trying to stay there for a little bit in the capital. The beaches were not as great as I thought. I do have some other ones. I'll let you decide what you think about them. I have some photos of them. But I found myself more interested in this because the beach is just a beach that you can see anywhere. But when I got into the town itself, I was catching all these kind of interesting little alleyways and nice pastel colors, and some churches and things like that as well. So I quite like that. Forgive me for some of the repetitiveness with me in the photo, but I'll step out of them in a minute. So there you go. But yeah, look at that. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, Punjabi, it's a little bit nice surprise. I didn't really expect it to be as cool as it was. I think I definitely would want to go back and spend more time. I spent a few days there, but I think I could have spent a lot more. Yeah, I think I really liked this alley though, didn't I? So can you blame me? It is kind of a cool alley. Guest house. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean, right? The guest houses are popping in. And this outside of this guest house, I was able to find some interesting seating as well in these little alleys. I'll do some other videos with this capital as well. I have a lot more photos of all parts of the city, but this is all captured in one day, so I want to keep my days together, and then I can explore the other ones. Yeah, this one right here was kind of interesting, Morquitos, and I just kind of liked the color and just being in these little alleys. Kind of a nice reminiscing in these photos again. I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to be trying to put a lot more videos up here with more of a photo attention, and that way you can kind of get an idea of what the city is like a little bit more visually. Back at that time, I didn't really use a video, so I wasn't recording and showing cities, but I was using my phone to capture photos. So I think I'll try to do more of this kind of stuff, just so that people can get an idea of what the capital of Goa looks like in places like this. So I hope you like it. I'll definitely be doing more. If you do like it, let me know. Show me some encouragement that is something that's interesting to you. I find it pretty interesting. It's hard to find photos like this. I look online, and it's just not quite the same. So I kind of hope somebody else gets something out of it in this kind of way. Yeah, so stay tuned. You get more Catholic stuff as well. You can I find that all over Goa, which I found really interesting. So okay, hope you like this one a lot, and yeah, stay tuned. I'll put up some more videos soon. So hope you enjoy. Chiquinha, chiquinha, toma cuidado da movimento.